Harry and Meghan have got the South Park treatment. The episode has just gone to air in the United States.
And here is how South Park mocked the obvious hypocrisy. Take a look.
I'm sick of hearing about them, but I can't get away from them. They're everywhere, in my face. Look, Kyle, we just kind of don't care about some dumb prince and his stupid wife.
The popular cartoon South Park taking aim at Prince Harry and Meghan.
The creators of South Park have been very clever, because if you watch it in its context, you can see that they've taken elements of all of the things that Meghan and Harry have done, you know?
Now, talk about crazy talk, Harry and Meghan.
Oh, yeah.
They have got the South Park treatment. This is absolutely brilliant.
It seems Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have divided the globe, but I think we can all agree that South Park decimated them last night.
We loved South Park's Meghan and Harry episode. And just when you thought it could not get any better, reports suggest South Park is already working on a new episode about Harry and Meghan's shocking return to the UK. The last episode about them was about Harry and Meghan wanting privacy, but now there is already a new twist to things. It is no longer about privacy. It is now about their return to Britain. But now the question remains, what happens when the couple mocked for leaving Britain suddenly finds itself heading back? Then it means South Park would be having a field day.
Harry and Meghan have got the South Park treatment. Harry and Meghan have got the South Park treatment. The episode has just gone to air in the United States. And Harry and Meghan, well, they were treated like the prince and princess of me that they deserve to be. Here's just a little taste.
We all thought South Park had moved past Harry and Meghan since their last episode. But unknown to us, they are reportedly preparing something big. And they are doing it at the perfect time, when Harry and Meghan would be returning to the UK. And at this point in their return, everything has crashed. Their Hollywood ambition, which was their ticket and motivation out of the royal family, is portrayed as unsuccessful. And adding to that, Harry is having a breakdown because he just lost his case against the Daily Mail publisher, and he has millions of dollars to pay in court settlements. What about Meghan's business? South Park is going to tear that apart, because she is the only woman who would be proud to sell a wickless candle and put a ribbon around her expensive jam and sell it at a premium price just to make money as fast as possible.
Yeah, they've changed their mind. They've changed their mind, Richard, because they realise they're not making the money. They're hated in Hollywood. They're not even invited to the Oscars or the Emmys. So King Charles has to wake up, okay? Because the idea that Harry and Meghan are coming back here just to be private citizens is delusional.
And the South Park writers are not even breaking a sweat on this one. They are not brainstorming, not inventing drama, not trying to figure out how to position the characters. Harry and Meghan handed them the entire storyline on a silver platter. 6 years of building an independent life in America, a tell-all book, an Oprah interview, a Netflix documentary about escaping the royal family, and then a quiet return to the British countryside with 2 kids and a jar of jam. The writers are sitting back with a drink in one hand and a pen in the other. This episode is basically writing itself.
I'm sick of hearing about them, but I can't get away from them. They're everywhere, in my face. Look, Kyle, we just kind of don't care about some dumb prince and his stupid wife.
If confusion had a face, it would be Harry and Meghan. You left Britain swearing never to return. You boarded your so-called freedom flight just to be a lazy prince. You left royal life and moved to California, and while you were ranting about wanting privacy, you were allegedly sending emails to TV channels to consider you for interviews so you could talk more about these experiences. And now you are coming back. Make it make sense.
So let me start with you, Sam. You've lived a life with the royal family, you've had everything handed to you, but you say your life has been hard, and now you've written all about it in your new book, Where? Yes, that's right, friend. You see, my wife and I are
totally like, you should write a book because your family like stupid and then so are like journalists.
So you hate journalists. That's right. And now you wrote a book that reports on the lives of the royal family. Right. So you're a journalist.
We just want to be normal people. All this attention is so hard.
It seems you weren't getting the fame that you wanted after doing all these things. You built a new life in America, but in building a new life, everything failed, and now the only option is to return to Britain. Remember that South Park episode where they said they had to leave the royal family for privacy? I wonder if South Park has been waiting for Harry and Meghan to provide another plot twist for them. and they have been thinking about what sequel would follow up the worldwide privacy tour. Now they have handed the writers the ultimate sequel.
The creators of South Park have been very clever because if you watch it in its context, you can see that they've taken elements of all of the things that Meghan and Harry have done, you know? So the sort of book, the sit-down interviews, even the costumes, all that sort of stuff. It's satirical and it's very humorous. Some might say a little bit too cruel at times, but I would basically argue the fact, Stuart, that, you know, reality is there. If you're offended, then perhaps you're seeing something in a self-mirror.
As the first episode asked, how can you demand privacy while going on a worldwide privacy tour? Then this alleged new episode could ask, how can you spend years explaining why you had to escape Britain only to turn around and come back? This would give a perfect continuation from the old South Park episode into the new UK return storyline.
Continues with the appropriate skewering of them running around the world saying, please don't look at us, but look at us, don't look at us, please look at me.
Come on. It's the worldwide privacy tour.
Now, South Park is making us understand that the first parody, which they did about Harry and Meghan, was a warm-up because, as of then, everything was intact. They appeared to have a strong life in California. They still had their Netflix deal, they had their Montecito lifestyle, and their California dream was still intact. But now, everything has fallen apart, making this new material so explosive. Now, people are lining up to see this episode. Even Harry and Meghan might be waiting patiently for what South Park is cooking, because that would surely be a blockbuster.
No doubt where the bulk of the American public stands on these two was the South Park episode. So for the South Park episode to air and it went viral and people could not stop talking about it, to then be followed up with this incredibly, it's a sad decision, but it feels very necessary.
And the setbacks are just the icing on the cake. The real cake for South Park is the finances. The legal bills, the failed projects, the sponsors walking away, the jam that is not selling. South Park writers could have a field day contrasting the Montecito mansion, the celebrity ambitions, and the lifestyle branding with the reality of a $67 million legal loss, and a couple quietly moving to the British countryside because California stopped making financial sense. Harry went from prince to Netflix star to courtroom loser to Cotswolds resident in 6 years. That is not a character arc. That is a South Park episode.
All of his claims against the publisher of the Daily Mail were rejected. He and his cohort are now on the hook for $63 million. You know?
Right? Because loser pays in the British legal system, and he lost.
He lost. And that's not even, the judge still has to rule on what legal fees he'll be paying for the defense.
And imagine Meghan showing up to the Cotswolds farmers market with her as ever products trying to sell to the locals. These are people who grow their own vegetables, raise their own chickens, and have absolutely no interest in a lifestyle brand from a woman who just moved in from California. The Cotswolds does not need a duchess to teach it how to live well. It has been doing that for centuries.
They are in the marketplace. They have to earn their living, and one of the ways they're earning their living is selling themselves. That is their unique selling point, the fact that they have royal status. And they're going to have to work at it very hard because they have a very expensive lifestyle. Security alone must cost a fortune.
Yep.
3 shifts a day of burly men guarding the perimeter of their house. Now, that burns through a lot of money.
Gwyneth Paltrow made her living selling dubiously scented candles. Now Meghan will be flogging jam. Quickly, do you think it will catch on?
And the Catherine contrast in this South Park episode would be devastating in the simplest way possible. Catherine does not need a storyline. She just needs to be herself. Calm, composed, completely unbothered. Put her next to Meghan and the joke writes itself without a single word of dialogue.
And is just a deeply unpopular person in many parts of the UK, in massive contrast to Princess Catherine, the Princess of Wales. We know that her brand is apparently thriving, but I think there'll be many questions asked about especially whether the American love affair is over for the Sussexes. Have they squeezed all they can out of Netflix and all the different things that they wanted to do?
At this point, South Park would be smart about this. They won't even need to attack Meghan directly. What they would do is simply place her next to Catherine, and seeing these two being compared, the the joke would automatically be created. And what about Prince William in this South Park episode? He would be the perfect contrast to Harry. While Harry has spent 6 years generating headlines for all the wrong reasons, William has been quietly doing his job, showing up, keeping his head down, and saying absolutely nothing. The complete opposite of everything Harry and Meghan represent. But now, with the Sussexes moving back to Britain, South Park could explore the tension of two brothers occupying the same country again, because Harry and Meghan's presence in Britain does not just create an awkward family reunion. It potentially creates a competing royal court. And William, who has worked so hard to restore stability and dignity to the institution, suddenly has to share the headlines again with the people who spent years dismantling it.
It's a massive headache for Prince William, who's going to have to deal with this rival royal court, which was previously headquartered in Montecito, California, now being in the UK.
South Park could introduce a running gag where every time Harry tries to do something independently, a little cartoon Meghan appears on his shoulder, whispering directions into his ear. He reaches out to shake someone's hand. Little cartoon Meghan taps him. He tries to speak at an event. Little cartoon Meghan redirects him. He tries to order his own food at a restaurant. Little cartoon Meghan has already ordered for him. Because we have seen that Harry cannot do anything by himself, Meghan is in charge. And South Park could dedicate a whole scene to Harry and Meghan's growing fear of losing their titles. Just like Andrew, that is the phrase haunting Harry right now. And South Park would have a field day with it.
That when his father sadly will one day die, that William as king will strip the Sussexes of their titles. That would have been inconceivable not so long ago, and everyone thought it was impossible to do it to Andrew, but they found a way, as the British always do, to sign a piece of paper and say that Prince Andrew is suddenly Mr. Andrew, and the same could well happen to the Sussexes.
Picture Harry waking up in a cold sweat every night, checking if he is still a prince. Meghan refreshing the palace website to make sure the Duchess of Sussex is still there. Because without those titles, they are not Harry and Meghan, the so-called global power couple. They are just a man from a famous family and a woman who used to be on a legal drama. The titles are the last thing keeping the brand alive, and they both know it.
I mean, Harry and Meghan are just pathological, aren't they? Because the more they say, the more they say, I want privacy, the more you realise that they cannot live without people's eyes on them. They are desperate.
That's their
for
oxygen.
attention.
Completely
they
with
need
you.
it. The more that they say, we just want to be treated fairly, we just want to be treated fairly. Well, it's your choice to be in the public eye. You can't decide how people perceive you.
At this point, Meghan doesn't have anything she can do. She cannot stop South Park because South Park has a long history of targeting major celebrities and institutions, and it is difficult to intimidate them legally because now the publicists cannot control jokes. Even the lawyers cannot easily stop satire, and trying to fight them could generate even more attention. For now, Harry and Meghan would have to endure what South Park is preparing, but this episode would probably be a bomb.
And the reality is you can't sue a cartoon. It's satire. It is what it is. The South Park has done, episodes on the royal family, on the royal wedding of Kate and William, for instance. So it's not something that they would be able to sue about. And I genuinely just don't believe it, really.
There you have it. So what are your thoughts about this? Is this new episode of South Park going to be more interesting than the first? Let us know in the comment section. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See you in the next video.